Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are not playing ranked. We're going over just some friendly battles I had with someone on my team tour team, H Firefly, better known as Slop. And I'm just practicing for my set tomorrow because the person I play tomorrow plays Pack 5 and Pack 3 and Pack 4. So I wanted some practice against at least Pack 5. So we're playing Slop's Pack 5. He's pretty good at it. He's my 2 seed, so he's definitely really good at the game. And we'll get straight into it. Here I go Duck Beaver. I really like if I'm able to get 2 good cell units at the start of turn 1. Duck and Beaver are both good cell units. And then I take the Ant because I kind of want to play more tempo. Into Turtle Pack, I would have bought the Pigeon. But against Pack 5, you really don't want to lose the early turns. They can kind of tempo you out really quickly, and I'd rather try to win these rounds. But even with the Ant, I end up losing. So I'm just going to end up looking for my triples, hopefully try and draw this next turn so I don't lose a life. I'll speed it up a little bit. There we go, we get our triple. And hopefully with that, we're able to win the turn. He repositioned, like bought a whole new unit, but I'm still able to draw perfectly. Very nice to keep that life. Here I get, whoa, sorry, it's going so fast. Here I get some good units to sell my duck onto. I get a camel, a peacock, and a flamingo. And the gold works out for me not only to sell this duck onto it, but then I also counted more gold. And so if I buy all 3 of these camel, peacock, and flamingo, I'll end with 2 gold. And something I can do to use 2 gold and also buff my units is just cycle another duck. And if my duck is hitting 3 units and the gold is good, I'm down to cycle ducks on turn 3. Very, very niche to do that, but it ended up working out here. I combine my beavers for a potential level next turn. It might have been better to sell one and have that extra gold to roll for my flamingo or peacock, but I decided to combine. It can kind of go either way. Here I see he ends up getting Cali Greyhound, a really, really strong unit in Pack 5, which mitigates my HP. And so a lot of times what that one does is it'll remove usually most of my HP down to a 1 sometimes because it's kind of broken. It's kind of OP. It can get even a little bit of mana does enough to remove a lot of HP. And so now I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to go a big tall unit. And so I decide to unfreeze my apple. I no longer want to try to make a big camel, which is what I would normally do into like Turtle Pack or something. Instead, I decide I want to try and play tempo. And even in the last roll, I didn't see it during the time I was playing, but I probably should have bought this hedgehog. This hedgehog is really good into his board because it's able to kill the mana hound and kill these drop bears in back, which are very much taking advantage of the HP mitigation that I'm getting. And the hedgehogs would perfectly kill the drop bear with its ability. So that was something I didn't see that honestly probably would have won me these turns. But I end up just going for Mingo and looking for my triples instead. Here I apple camel, even though I just said I wouldn't apple camel. I thought maybe it would matter, I don't know. I end up finding my flamingo anyway. I get that triple. And turn. Next turn, I'm really hard looking for cake. Cake is really important when I don't really have a thing I want to commit to. Because nothing on my board I really want to commit to that much. And so I'd rather cake and be able to pivot late game. Here we get bison, turtle, triple. I don't really want that bison. I don't have close to a level 3, so I'm going to take the turtle for sure. Obviously going to take the cake. You want to cake the unit that is going to stay the longest while still getting sold eventually. And so normally into Turtle Pack, what I would have done is I would have caked my ant. But instead, I decided to do something a little crazy. I don't think this was very, particularly good, but I decided to go for it. Decided to double sell my peacock and my ant and go for double camel, hedgehog, turtle. I thought this hedgehog was still really strong. I had missed it last turn, but I thought it was really strong still. And then I decided to cake my hedgehog and roll. I don't really want the pills on my turtle because the hedgehog would just break the melons anyway, so I skip the pills. With this hedgehog, we'll see if we're able to win the turn. We kill a lot of his units, and we do win the turn perfectly with that hedgehog. Very nice. Here we get another cake. Super down to cake my camel, even though it is my biggest unit. And normally your biggest unit, you'd want to commit to it in like turtle mirrors, but since I'm playing the non-mirror, again, I want to pivot out of my whole board. And something that's really good into Mana Hound specifically is Whale. Whale is super, super strong. I'm going to be hard looking for Whale. The reason why Whale is good is because I can swallow my biggest unit inside the Whale, kill the Mana Hound, and the Mana Hound won't hit the thing inside the Whale because it's hidden. And then once the Whale dies, my big unit will come back out still with full HP and hopefully wipe the rest of his board. Here he Water of Youth his Kraken into a Visitor, and that ended up being worse for me, so I lose the turn because of that. Here I decide can, and I skip my triple. And I don't know if that's correct or not. It's probably better to just take the triple because I would really like Turkey or Armadillo are both pretty good options, but I didn't think anything else really would swing me the fights that much. Like even Monkey doesn't really do anything. Rhino doesn't do anything. Cow doesn't do anything because I don't want to like buff my units. I want to pivot into Turkey summons. And so I could have ripped this for Turkey, but I thought that the tier 6 would be more important to get rather than the tier 5s, which I didn't think would do much for me. So instead I decided to can, start to level my turtle. I'm going to bread my turtle. Bread is super, super strong into pack 5. I think it's the best perk into pack 5 if you're ever playing into it. And I reposition a little bit. The reason bread is so good specifically is because they have a toy called Pandora's Box, which just would get rid of all my equipment. And so I'd rather have the bread to give me some kind of benefit before the battle, and instead of having like a perk that works in battle but then gets replaced by Pandora's Box. And he is pretty likely to buy Pandora's Box or a book as well for his toy. So I just gotta be careful of both of those eventually. Here we do lose. We're going down to 3 lives. Pretty scary. We're gonna roll down for my triple and the whale. There's our whale. Love that, beautiful. I'm even going to sell my hedgehog because I want this deer. I think this deer maybe wins me the turn and I really want to keep my tempo. It might have still been okay to hold my hedgehog and keep that cake gold, but I really wanted to win this turn, so I thought that the deer tempo was good enough for that. Get another can. Get even another can. Super down to buy that. All these cans are really good because I'm pivoting my whole board. And so when you're pivoting your whole board, cans are really, really strong as long as you're not on like 2 HP or less. Here he gets a red dragon, which unfortunately brings my camel down to 1 HP in the back and it dies to the drop bear. And so I'm not able to win this turn. And I'm down to 2, very scary. But I get what I would love in shop, which is a turkey, into not the best tier 6s ideally. The boar doesn't super work into his board, I don't think, because it just gets HP mitigated by the Cali Greyhound and dies, and is also not big enough to get through the Cali Greyhound. So I decided to go for something a little different. I decided to play Wolverine Rooster. And Wolverine is really good with summons. Wow, okay. I'm blind. I should have taken that turtle. I'm blind. That's silly. Anyway, Wolverine is really good with summons because you're gonna get a lot of hurt procs off of it. And that's why I decided to take that over the boar. And I freeze my cow to be able to buff my Wolverine next turn to make sure it lives. Here he gets something really scary. He gets double red dragon mana core, which is just gonna like almost insta-kill both my back units. But he still loses because my summons are very strong into his board. And now we're gonna sell my deer, sell my turtle. We want this whale. we want this Wolverine, and we want this cow as well. And it works out to perfect gold to be able to do everything I wanted to do. With this cow, I want to just make sure that my whale would live a proc of crisp. And so right now his crisp is doing 6 times 2 because of the manticore. So I decided to just get my whale to 14 HP, make sure it doesn't die to any crisp that possibly could come its way. And I put the last one on Wolverine to get it out of triple crisp range in case he got another manticore. Here my cow dies, but my Wolverine lives. And another really strong thing with the Wolverine that I was thinking about is if you see at the start of turn, when he gives me crisp and they go off, they're going off multiple times. Because it goes off once from the red dragon and then again from the manticore. And all of those triggers count for Wolverine. So it gives me a lot of triggers off the Wolverine. And because of that, I end up winning the turn with a 1 HP turkey in the back. Now what I'm looking for, levels. And I think Mammoth is a really strong 5th unit on my board. So I decided to take that. Working towards the level. I have a lot of levels to find. Here I find 2 of the levels, and I gotta decide which one is the best to take. The question is like turkey, whale, or mammoth. And I believe that mammoth is the best one because it gives me the most amount of stats. It gives me an extra 8/8 versus if I put it on the turkey or whale, with the whale, it only give me an extra 6/6. And with the turkey, it would only give me an extra, I believe, 6/4. And so overall, it was better for me to put the whale because it was the most amount of stats for leveling that. And he gets Book. Book is extremely scary. With the Cali Greyhound, you'll see why here in a second. Because Book just wipes my entire board after the Cali Greyhound goes off. He gets the back units down to 1 HP. The Great One summoned from the Book does 5 damage to everything, and so it'll kill my 1 HP guys. And now I have basically nothing left. But because the turkey made the mammoth big enough, I'm able to trade through the rest of the board. Now let's take our turkey, roll. I'm freezing this fly because I want to pill mammoth and then get fly on board. I thought that was better because it would give me more Wolvie triggers as well as just being a lot of big summons into his board, which I didn't think he could handle. And what it also allows me to do is it allows me to swallow the rooster. Swallowing rooster with whale is really strong with turkey because the turkey is going to end up basically double buffing the rooster that comes out of the whale. It'll buff the base rooster, and then because the base rooster is getting buffed by the turkey, it'll make the summons even bigger, and then the summons get even bigger with the turkey triggering again on its summons. So that is really strong, and that's why I wanted to fly and to eventually pill mammoth. I decided to melon my whale, hopefully make sure that it protects and doesn't die to the Cali Greyhound. This turn I am able to get through the Cali, and instead my front 2 units dies, which is much better than my back 2 units dying because my back 2 units are my tech units. It ended up working out like really good breakpoints for me there. He gets a Nessie out of his cocoa beans, but it's not going to be enough. I take the win, and he's down to 1 HP. I just need to win this turn. Mushroom, super strong, even though I don't get my pill. I think Mushroom is really strong on Mammoth. It'll give me a lot of extra stats and even more Wolvie triggers. I just bred my turkey, make sure it lives in case he buys a Manticore. And I'm going to freeze my whole shop here pretty much because it just gives me a bunch of things that I want. I accidentally rolled past Fly too, but it's not going to matter. This turn should seal the deal. I have a very strong board into his. He tries with a random abomination. That's not going to work. Again, my front 2 units die, which is better for me. Even with his deer summon, it's not quite going to be enough, and I win with my back Wolvie. And so that was just a really good practice game. Tomorrow, I will be playing my set against my opponent, so I will have one of those games at least for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.